Good morning. I am excited to chat with you today. We're going to be talking about the one thing that is absolutely essential to have to heal emotional eating. Let's get going. Let's start with getting some mindset and brain state changes. This is a new song I found this morning and I thought it's perfect for today's conversation. I love it. Wherever I go, oh, you're gonna find me there. Wherever I go. Good morning. I see some of you guys popping on. Say hi. Who do we have here today? Wherever I go. So important for our conversation today. Get some shoulder shrugs going. Maybe some eyebrows if you're driving. Oh, you defend my soul. You defend my soul. Good morning. My goodness, we're already on morning boost. 14? I've been doing this for 3 weeks coming to you Monday through Friday at 7:30 a.m. It's been so fun. Wherever I go, oh, you're gonna find me there. Wherever I go, oh, you're right beside me. In the rising flame, even in the pouring rain, even in the flood, I say, oh, you go wherever I go. Perfect song for today's conversation. Let's get chatty. Can you guess what the one thing is that you need? Comment below if you have a guess. Awesome. That's such a good song. Love it. Love it. So we are on morning boost number 14 already. How awesome is that? We're almost halfway through these, and I hope that you're enjoying them. So today we're going to be talking about something that's actually super duper important, and really one of the most important things, actually the most important thing in order to really truly heal emotional eating. So it's absolutely a must. And if you have any guesses of what that is, I'd love for you to comment below, especially Blissfully Healthy ladies. If you're popping on live with me here today, you might know what I'm going to say. So before I jump into that, I just want to point your attention to a couple of links. I added in a new link today, just in case if you're really loving this and if these are helpful for you and you have some questions and want to connect with me, you're welcome to do that. I would love, 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 love to hear from you. And so I have a free discovery session for those that are interested in learning more about coaching and have some questions. That's something that you can do if you are feeling like, I think this Blissfully Healthy thing I want to do. And if you're just ready to jump in, there's also the $97 link down below as well. Either way, I would love, love, love to connect with you. So let's talk about this one thing that you must have in order to heal emotional eating. So when we are in that diet mindset, a lot of times we can beat ourselves up, we can make ourselves wrong. We talked about the thoughts and how those are very much connected to then creating feelings and then creating behaviors, and that behavior, when I'm feeling down about myself or shameful, can lead to emotional eating. And so there becomes this mindset that is internalized and normalized within ourselves when we're struggling through that of hating ourselves and shaming ourselves. And there might even be the mindset of, okay, if I just kick myself in the butt enough, if I just force myself to do this, if I'm just mean enough to myself in a sense, then I will get back on track and I will do this. And overall, that mindset is about, if I hate myself enough, maybe I'll get back on track. And the reality is, especially if there's truly an emotional eating challenge going on, we cannot hate ourselves thin. We cannot hate ourselves thin. And you might have heard me say that before, and other people say that. It's so, so true. And so I want to give you a tool today, a mindset tool, a really great example of what we do here in Blissfully Healthy Land. I like to call it Blissfully Healthy Land because it's fun. I'm going to give you a tool today about what we actually want to do. And so you can start using that today. Okay? So if we know I cannot hate myself thin, and if you're not quite sure that you might believe that, I want you to take a look at the past evidence. When you've done diets before, is that something that has helped you when you've been mean to yourself? Maybe temporarily, but in the long run, if you're still struggling, it really truly has not worked, right? It has not worked. If we are here and you're struggling. And it will just make you miserable. And life is miserable when you're in that mindset. So I get that. And so where does this typically come from? Well, a lot of times this can really come from what we grow up learning. So if other people modeled for us that we need to be mean to ourselves or critical of ourselves, or even if we had that that's how we were spoken to, we start to internalize that. So here's the tool I would love, love, love for you to get curious about and just try on today. Just experiment with this and get curious. So listening to your thoughts, and we talked about that in a couple of these morning boosts about what to do with that and how that's so important. But if you get curious about and just listen to, like, what am I saying to myself? If you were a fly on the wall and just listening and observing yourself, what are some thoughts you might hear yourself saying? And then the next thing I really would love to invite you to do is ask yourself, whose voice is that? Whose voice is that? Where did I learn that? So, for example, as I've shared my story, I grew up hearing things like, you're so fat, you're ugly, no wonder your mom didn't want you, and from my father. And so I internalized my father's voice as that's how I should talk to myself. And all of this is absolutely subconscious. But once we know, once we really see this, we can start to change it. But we first have to actually really see it in order to change it. So in my process, I would say, okay, I'm calling myself fat, or I'm having fat thoughts and fat talk, inner dialogue, right? And then it's being able to say, oh, that's my dad's voice. That's my dad's voice. No, I am not going to take that as truth of that's my reality. That's not true, because we know for a fact that that was not a helpful way of growing up. I would absolutely never say that to any of my children, you know. And so knowing that my father had some deficiencies in being able to love me the way that I deserved, and having that mindset shift. So then we can externalize and put a boundary up, an internal boundary up, and saying, am I going to take this as truth? Am I going to take this in? And so we want to start filtering it, but we first have to name it. So this is what I would love for you to do, is name those voices, okay? Name those old tapes that play in your head. Where did you learn that? Is that mom? Is that dad? Is that a past boss? Is that a past spouse? Is that, I don't know, whomever you might, aunt, uncle, sister, brother, where did you learn that from? And name those voices. You can name them whatever you would like, but name them, really see them. Oh, that's my mom's voice, or oh, that's my dad's voice, or oh, that's just like, media's voice. I don't want that to be truth for me. So that's that first thing, okay? The second thing I really want to give you another golden nugget today is knowing that the thing that we really need to have in order to truly heal emotional eating is a nurturing inner voice. And we don't just develop that in like one day we turn it over. But it's through processes like this and other tools that really help us to change our thinking patterns and the way that we operate through life. And from that place, guess what? When life happens, when stressful times happen, when we make mistakes, when we kind of show up a little ugly, because we all have those times. I am not perfect. I definitely have times when I get cranky, you know, but like we can actually say, oh, okay, Emmy, you're being cranky right now. You're totally being a cranky wench. And I can laugh at myself and say, okay, I see you, love. All right, baby girl, you're tired. You're tired. And being able to see that, but still love myself in those moments. So this is why I wanted to play that song. Everywhere I go, everywhere we go, we want to have a nurturing inner voice. Come heck or high water, if I'm being in my dark side, which might show up as cranky, irritated, you know, not as patient as I normally am, and in my light side, which is totally where I'm at right now, and loving and joyful, like we have to find a way to love ourselves in our dark side when we're totally being a cranky wench, and in our light side, and everywhere in between. Essential. Like imagine what it's going to feel like to be on the other side of all of this and say, wow, yep, I totally did not handle that perfectly or well. Okay. You know, and still being able to love yourself and be kind to yourself and accepting of yourself, because the world might abandon you and reject you, but we want to get to a place where you will not abandon yourself, including with negative self-talk and beating yourself up and spiraling down into shame spirals, okay? So this is the essential thing, and it is the foundation for where we start in this blissfully healthy land, is to start with this. So a lot of this work, it's really internal things, but it's also some external things. But we absolutely have to have this piece in order to heal emotional eating. We cannot hate ourselves thin. We cannot hate ourselves out of an emotional eating struggle. We cannot hate ourselves into a place of freedom. It's not possible. We will just spiral down even further. And I want more for you. I know you want more for your life. And how miserable does it feel when we're beating ourselves up that way? So I hope that this has been helpful for you, and I would love to hear from you. Like, what is your biggest takeaway from today's morning boost? What is your biggest takeaway? I hope it's helpful for you, and I want to remind you about voting for your favorite morning boost, and you can do that on my YouTube channel by liking the ones that you like the most, that are the most powerful, because I'm going to save the most top 3 and keep them available. But after the end of January, I'm going to be taking all of these down except for those 3 and putting them in my Living Blissfully Healthy library for my VIP clients. And so you are totally invited to join us. We have a great time together. We walk this journey together, and you'll get even more powerful information just like this. So if you would like to connect, please feel free to do so. I am here for you. You do not have to do this alone. And in fact, it is essential that you get the right support so that you can actually have the freedom you so desperately want and you deserve. So I hope that you'll connect with me, and I hope that today is really helpful for you. And say it with me. You are invited to stop dieting and start living, because a blissfully healthy lifestyle, it does not have an expiration date, and you are worth it. You are absolutely worth it. And I'll look forward to seeing you next Tuesday, because it's a holiday. I will not be here Monday, but we can play some replays. So I will see you Tuesday of next week. I hope that you guys have a great 3-day weekend and have a good rest of your Friday. Bye.